YouTube, what's happening? It's Nocturnal. Welcome to Nocturnal Thoughts, back in the building. Peace, 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 peace. What's happening? Wanted to do a real quick video, as always, just to wrap up my final prediction. Once I put my predictions down, I like to leave them down and let the chips fall where they may. I don't like to go back and forth. Even though in my mind I go back and forth with my thoughts, and I might want to sway to a you know different direction or different prediction. But doing these YouTube videos, I feel like it's a little bit more of wet cement. Once I put my final stamp on it, once I put my final prediction down, then it is what it is. I can't go back. I don't want to go back and change it. I want the record to reflect what my thought was at that time. And if I have to go back and you know make an adjustment, or even say I've seen that wrong, or I predicted that wrong, that's cool with me. I have no problem admitting a fault, or not. I can't even really call it a fault. I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong, especially when you're talking about making a prediction. You know what I'm saying? It's a prediction. Is like looking into a glass ball, trying to look into the future. And with the fight game, it's one man against one man. It's 50-50. You always have a 50-50 chance of being wrong or being right. So once I put my final prediction down, I'm gonna leave it down, and then we'll see what happens on fight night, and I can come back with a follow up and see, where things went how I thought they would, and where things might have went in a different direction versus what I was thinking. And it's all good either way. So anyway, my final prediction on Amir versus Terrance Crawford. Like I said, I wanted to compile up more of my thoughts so that, I had a little bit more of a solid prediction. And I wanted to look at their, match them up side by side, what they look like. Amir Khan, his record, 37 fights, 33 wins, 20 by way of knockout, and he has 4 losses. Now, in my mind, that's a pretty decent record. I think a lot of people get it misconstrued, especially after the Floyd Mayweather era, that you have to be an undefeated fighter to be a great fighter. To be TBE, to be the greatest of all time, he has set that precedent now that you might have to be undefeated. But that's not the case. 37 fights, 20 knockouts shows a lot of power. And we all know his 4 losses, and we know why his 4 losses. When you look at Terrance Bud Crawford, he has 34 fights, 34 wins, 25 by knockout. So he has 5 more knockouts than Amir Khan. And the main thing is, wow, 0. He has 0 losses. Now that is a main factor in my thought process of who's going to win this fight in multiple ways, and a few other things. I thought that Amir Khan had a larger height advantage, which he doesn't. Recorded, Terrance Crawford is about 5'8", and they say American. Okay, so Terrance Crawford is 5'8". American is they say 5'8.5", which is about 5'9". I'm a little bit over 5'9", so Americans, both of those guys are about my height. If I was to stand next to Terrance Crawford, it'd be like how my son is now standing next to up to me. I mean, it just depends on if you got your posture up and you standing up straight. I can't wait to see them at the weigh-ins when they can do a face-off. When you do a face-off, you can kind of tell looking at the shoulders who has a height advantage. But 5'8", 5'8.5" versus 5'9", to me that's not a huge, that's not going to be a big advantage. Like if you're looking at Christina Hammer versus Clarissa Shields, there's an obvious, height advantage. Terrance Crawford though has a longer reach. His reach, his reach is 74. American reach is 71. So, um, you know, now me thinking that American was taller made me assume that he would have a reach advantage. Well, he doesn't have a reach advantage. So that takes away a lot from American even though he's faster, he has to go a longer way to touch his his opponent. But he still has a speed advantage, no doubt. We all know Khan fights orthodox, and we all know that Terrence Bud Crawford is ambidextrous. He fights orthodox, but he can switch southpaw whenever he wants to. So that's going to play a factor, but we have to wait until to the first round to see if Bud is going to come in there orthodox, southpaw, or switching back and forth. We have to come in there and see if American is going to take the first round and accelerate and come in and try to take advantage of the first 1 to 3 rounds of doing what American do with those lightning speed hands. Um, Looking at their resume a little bit, now they both fought Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia fighting American was down on points, but he caught him and he put him to sleep. Terrence Bud Crawford was able to defeat Danny Garcia. So that's just one comparison where you can see they fought the same guy and you get a different outcome. So that doesn't look good for American. Um, One thing I really wanted to point out before I get to my prediction, and definitely don't want to stretch this video out too long, but listening to several different interviews with American, he seems to be pretty comfortable. So I'm thinking to myself, and I have to ask the question, where is the fire burning for the motivation? What's pushing him? What is his drive? What's going to be his fire to make him come into this fight and fight to win and fight to go through hell, you know? Because this, to me, his career, put it like this: I don't see, if he lost this fight, I don't see him going back to the drawing board and trying to figure out what his next move would be in boxing. I think this will be his last performance inside the ring if he lost this fight. And a part of me thinks that he does want to just go out on his sword. Like, he's coming into the ring to fight, but he thinks, it looks like he thinks, if I can win, if I can beat this guy, I'm going to beat this guy. But if this guy starts to, punish me and hurt me, then I'm going to go out with a blaze. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go out on my sword. He don't have plan B as far as he's going into this fight and he's leaving it all on the line because this might be his last opportunity to have a big fight. He can't go back to the drawing board and say let's plot another course to get back. We got knocked down because he been there and he done that. You got knocked down. You got to go back to the basics and train up and get your mind right, and he's been there and done that. So those have pros and cons to them. The pro is he has the experience losing. The con is he has experience losing, because a loser that loses a fight and learns and grows and becomes stronger can come into the fight and improve and get better from that point. But if you lose a fight and you lose, you know, if you lose several different fights and you haven't um, improved and redeemed yourself in the ring, then you you come to a crossroad where maybe it's time to hang the gloves up. So I feel like with Khan, this is one of his last hurrahs versus Terrance Crawford. Terrance Crawford could come in this fight feeling like, he has nothing to lose and the world to gain. And what I mean by that is, first of all, let me say this. Terrance Crawford record reflects 34, 25 knockouts and no losses. So right now, what that lets me know is he doesn't even know how to lose. That's very important. Amir Khan knows how to lose. He knows how to go into a fight expecting to fight, but somewhere in that fight, his mind can flip over and decide to quit, to no mas, to take a knee, to put his guards down and get hit enough times for the ref to jump in and stop it. I think that Khan can come into this fight fired up, and ready to go. But that don't mean he can't get extinguished. If the fire's not burning deep enough, it might get extinguished. The thing about Bud Crawford is, I believe he just has that dog in him. He has that dog in him to where I feel like he has more to prove. He's not like American is saying that financially he's pretty good. He's set financially. He has projects on the side that he does. He does some kind of celebrity game shows here and there. He has a camp that he has where he's donating money, and I don't know I don't like to get into people's pockets, but he's basically in a position where he can retire now and he knows financially he's set. Now that's one thing that's cool about that is he's not fighting for money to a certain extent, right? His main focus on it is not fighting for money. But what is he fighting for? He's fighting to prove something to himself. He's fought the best fighters and he's come up short a couple of times, and he don't want his legacy to be remembered as the guy that got knocked out by Canelo Alvarez. He wants to come into this ring and go out with a blaze and say, this is who I am, this is what I did in boxing. And he's using Terrance Crawford, who is pound for pound, by most people considered to be pound for pound the best. He's thinking to himself, I think he's thinking to himself, if I can beat this guy, if I can outbox this guy, I can put my name up above my knockouts, and you have to give me my credit where credit is due. That makes him dangerous. That makes him intelligent if he's playing chess and he's thinking that way. But him taking the L before, Terrance Crawford can come knock that out of him. That's a good motivation to try to redeem your career. But Terrance Crawford can come across and hit him one, hit him two, hit him three times, and now Americans can be like, well, my money's straight. I got all these things going on the side. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm gonna go ahead and just do what I've done before, was just take an L. And I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna try to take this L like a G, like I said. I'm gonna go out on my sword. I'm gonna fight. That's what I'm saying. It puts him in a position where I can see that American, even though he has all the tools, I don't know if he has the proper. He don't have the eternal, burning flame and passion that you gotta have in order to overcome yourself and overcome your opponent. I think Terrance Bud Crawford has that. I think he has that, especially him being undefeated. He don't know how to lose. His mind hasn't ever calculated a loss to where he knows how I can get over it. So like if you never lost, when you're undefeated, it's a big thing. When someone defeats you, you have to recalibrate everything about yourself, everything you thought about yourself. You got to go back to the drawing board and reinvent yourself, and you got to come out better, bigger, stronger, faster, smaller, slicker, craftier. You got to go through a whole different transformation in order to bring yourself and your career back up to the level you got knocked down from. And if you have never done that, if you have never taken a loss, you know what I'm saying, and you're fighting against somebody that has, then you have the advantage, because you know what it takes to win a fight. Floyd Mayweather was undefeated because in every single fight he had, he might have been in danger to lose a few fights, but he always could think and outsmart his opponents in the ring in order to make the proper adjustments so that he came out victorious. He always said, like, no matter what happens, this guy could be bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me, younger than me. I'm going to win this fight because no matter what happens, I'm going to figure out how to win this fight. That's what I do. And Bud has to have that mentality. He has to have that mentality to where he's going to do whatever he has to do to win the fight. And with the power that he has, with the ability to switch from orthodox to a southpaw, I think American's going to give him some trouble out the gate with the speed. But I think he's going to take that all in. Then he's going to readjust himself. He has a reach advantage. And I think he's just a younger, hungrier fighter. He's not full. Like, American, when he's talking like he's full. He's like, I'm eating. I'm getting to this game trying to just really put the icing on the top. And Bud Crawford is nowhere near that. Terrance Bud Crawford is still a junkyard dog, you know what I'm saying, ready to bite somebody's head off to eat and to feed his family. And so I don't have to even guess where that fire is at in him. Like, you just know he has a fire in him, that the way he thinks, the way he trains, the way he fights like a person that's on a mission that he's going to win. He's not going to be satisfied with he's not going to be satisfied with anything less than a dominant fight, a dominant performance. Now, just to wrap this up because it's getting pretty long, and I'm gonna chop it up and I'm done. I don't like calling. Um, I don't like calling knockout. I don't like predicting knockouts. I think it has about a 40-60 chance of knockout, but I think it's going to happen. My final prediction is going to be Terrance Crawford is going to win the fight by referee stoppage in the late rounds, maybe round 7, 8, 9, or 10. I think American's going to take the first 3 rounds, and he's just going to be that speed demon. And the whole time, I think Terrance Crawford is going to be making little adjustments, little adjustments, little adjustments. By the 4th round, I think he's going to have enough figured out to at least start to touch Khan up. By the 5th, 6th round, I think he's going to land some shots that might hurt Amir Khan. By the 7th round, I think he's going to come out and he's going to catch him and blaze him and hurt him. And you're going to see Amir Khan start to break down, you know. And from that point, the referee knows that he has a glass chin. The referee's going to be right on it like this, waiting to see. And once Bud jumps all over him and starts to swinging, you know, those wild shots, he's going to catch him a couple of times and bounce him around a couple of times. And I think the ref is going to jump in to stop the fight. Like I said, maybe round 9-ish, maybe round 10. That's how I see the fight. That's how I predict the fight. Referee stoppage. Terrance Bud Crawford comes out victorious. That's my final prediction. I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm looking forward to Canelo, Daniel Jacobs fight. You know, that has my interest. And I'm looking forward to Anthony Joshua, Big Baby Miller. So, you know, the closer those fights come up, I can start to what's a good word? Give me a good word. Anyways, once those fights get a little closer, I can look into it and do a little bit more, you know, research with the fighters. I'll tell you what my honest opinion is. I think Canelo should have this fight, but Daniel Jacobs, he's a tough fighter. He has a height, you know, he has all around fighting is you know, if you look at what he did with Triple G, but Canelo has a different kind of power. Anyways, I appreciate y'all time. Like I said, my final prediction is going to be Terrance Crawford winning the fight by referee stoppage in the late rounds. Hey, I appreciate y'all time. Appreciate y'all for watching. I know this video stretched out a little longer than I wanted to. I was trying to do it in 15 minutes. But all my new viewers, I thank y'all for leaving comments. You know, steel sharpens steel. You guys let me know what you think. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And go ahead and hit the bell for notifications as I will continue to deliver new content. One more big peace. Peace. Together we stand. Divided we fall. It's nocturnal thoughts, y'all.